Greetings everybody, my name is Tommy the Keyblade Master and welcome to my channel. Well, Final Fantasy IX has been released on Steam today and I decided to make a quick purchase and just try out like the first hour of the game and compare it alongside the PS1 version and see if this version is worth playing and telling people to get. The good news is, outside of the fact that Square Enix obviously made some room for it to be played on tablets, which means really large text boxes that do kind of get in the way, it is for the most part a pretty good HD upscale, and that's what they're doing here. This is not a full-blown remake by any means. They're just pretty much upscaling the color and the resolution. But that said, out of all the Final Fantasy PS1 games that could use this type of treatment, 9 is the one to do it on. I remember playing through 9. It's been 15 years since I did it, but I remembered love playing through this game. But at the same time, as much as I marveled at how good the character designs were, I kind of had to step back because the resolution was blurry, and half the time I couldn't even see the faces or check out any of the small details. With this HD upgrade, I can finally do that. That said, with all this HD smoothing and upgrades that you get from this type of thing, you are going to get some muddy colors. The game's not immune from that, but the fact that I can now see this chick's face in the corner, it makes it a huge upgrade. For those of you who haven't played through Final Fantasy IX, it's a pretty good game. It's not perfect. I want to do a full review so I can tell you about the good and bad. But for the most part, it's a really great game. It goes back to more of a classic Final Fantasy approach and the way you deal with your characters, deal with the character management and its setting. As far as its story, it starts off with you playing the role of a person named Zidane, I think that's how you pronounce it, who is a part of a troupe of actors who's out to kidnap a princess. However, things go awry when Zidane finds out that the princess really wants to get kidnapped to get away from her evil mother, and then the stuff just keeps hitting the fan. It basically boils down to the fact that there's a whole other world out there that wants to try to conquer Zidane's world, and, well, it's Zidane's race, and a whole bunch of other weird stuff. The overall plot of the game, though, does have a message, and that's kind of what do you do with your life? What do you do with the time that you got? What are you going to be remembered for? And it's a constant theme throughout the game, and it's a nice theme to have in an RPG. Mainly because as Zidane and Vivi kind of find out, they're not who they are, they're not what they're supposed to be, and they're not even supposed to have free will, so what do you do with it? And it becomes a very entertaining and even uplifting message. The game's got charm, and it's got a sense of humor to it. There's a lot of funny scenes. One of the characters that joins your group is this pain in the ass named Steiner, who's this kind of old, staunchy knight who even has rusty armor as he runs around. He's got a lot of charm and personality. If you ask me what's wrong with the modern day Final Fantasy games like 13, they got a lot of flash, but they don't have any substance. Lightning was a boring character and a boring plot. Here you've got humor, you've got nice characters, you've got characters I can sympathize with on their quest. If Square Enix wants to get its role-playing game master title back, they're really going to have to step it up and create characters I can identify with. One of the reasons why I've gone on to the Tales series is even with games like Tales of Zestiria, which were an absolute nightmare, I still got charm out of that game. You don't get that with the modern Final Fantasy. This game has plenty of charm, and it definitely makes it worth the $20 they're asking for on Steam. The HD upgrade is nice. It will last you probably 50 to 80 hours, depending on how much you take this game. If you want to get everything, expect a long time to go through this game, because there's just a lot to do. I want to wait a few months before I review this one, folks. I got other projects that are on my hard drive right now that are needing of my attention and of my completion before I can really start this game. And like I said, 50 to 80 hours easily. but it's definitely a must pick up on Steam, and I just love the HD upgrade. It's not perfect, but it'll definitely do. Anyways, this is Tommy the Keyblade Master thanking you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below.